Xibalba, the underworld of the ancient Maya, is one of the most vivid and terrifying realms described in world mythology. Its name means place of fear, and for the Maya, it was not merely a land of the dead, but a domain of deception, suffering, and supernatural trials. The stories of Xibalba survive most clearly in the Popol Vuh, the sacred text of the Cache Maya, where the underworld is revealed in all its haunting complexity. Xibalba was ruled by a council of powerful beings known as the Lords of Death, unlike the singular rulers of the underworld in other cultures. Such as Hades in Greece, Xibalba was governed by a hierarchy of malevolent deities, each presiding over a particular form of suffering. Hun came, or One Death, and Vuseb came, or Seven Death, were the leaders. But beneath them were many others whose domains reflected the cruel and twisted imagination of fear. There was a god of filth, a god of scab, a god of pus, and a god of bone. Others were responsible for illness, sudden death, or the mysterious afflictions that could strike without warning. For the Maya, disease and decay were not random misfortunes, but forces governed by the very powers of Xibalba. The path into Xibalba was as treacherous as the place itself. It was said to lie beneath the earth, reach through caves, sinkholes, or rivers that flowed underground. Those who entered would first face rivers of blood and rivers filled with scorpions, before reaching the council of the death gods. Once inside, the Lords of Death devised endless trials to torment both mortals and heroes. The houses of Xibalba were among the most feared. The House of Darkness, where no light could survive. The House of Cold, where freezing winds cut to the bone. The House of Jaguars, filled with ravenous beasts. The House of Bats, where monstrous creatures waited to strike. And the House of Blades, where sharp instruments filled every space. The most famous story of Xibalba centers on the hero twins Hunahpu and Xibalunk. Their father and uncle, Hun Hunahpu and Vukub Hunahpu, had once been summoned to Xibalba for disturbing the lords with their ball game. There, they failed the trials and were sacrificed, their remains buried in the underworld. From the severed head of Hun Hunahpu, life persisted, and it fathered the hero twins who would grow up to avenge their family. The twins descended into Xibalba, armed not with brute force, but with intelligence and cunning. They endured the trials, tricking the Lords of Death at every turn. When commanded to sit on burning benches, they pretended not to feel the heat. When given cigars and torches meant to burn out by morning, they replaced the fire with glowing fireflies and red macaw feathers, fooling the gods into believing they had succeeded. In the infamous House of Bats, though tragedy struck when Hunahpu was decapitated, his brother Xibalunk cleverly fashioned a substitute head from a gourd until the real one could be retrieved. At last, the twins challenged the Lords of Death to a ball game, the same game that had doomed their father. But this time, they outwitted their opponents. When the lords demanded their sacrifice, the twins feigned obedience, leaping into the fire and reducing themselves to ashes, only to rise again stronger than before. In the end, they defeated the death gods, restoring balance and proving that wit and resilience could triumph over the greatest terrors of the underworld. For the Maya, this story was not only entertainment, but a reflection of their spiritual beliefs. Xibalba represented the trials of existence, the inevitability of suffering, and the hope that courage and cleverness could lead to transcendence. Death was not simply an end, but a passage through fear and illusion. The hero twins' victory symbolized renewal, sacrifice, and the enduring cycle of life. Even today, the echoes of Xibalba linger in the landscapes of Central America. Deep caves and cenotes, natural sinkholes filled with water, were seen as portals to the underworld. Archaeological evidence shows offerings left in these sacred spaces. Jade, pottery, even human remains, meant to appease the gods of death and ensure balance. The myths of Xibalba reveal not only the fears of the ancient Maya, but also their profound understanding of life's fragility and resilience. Xibalba endures as a myth of terror and triumph, a reminder that the greatest challenges are often faced in darkness. And that even in the shadow of death, the human spirit can weave stories of survival and hope.